Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Google Digital Garage. Today, we'll be doing create video for YouTube. We're just going to be going through sort of like the hints and tips, ideas for you to be able to master your YouTube channel and basically give you an idea of maybe, if you haven't already, the steps that you could take to be able to up your game on YouTube. This could be around hardware, possibly software, things that you might need to think about in terms of your audience. So we're going to go through this at a nice sort of bite-sizable pace. Throughout today's session, do feel free to take some notes. Feel free to ask some questions. The more interactive you make today's session, the more fun it's going to be for you as well. Potentially, the more fun it's going to be for me. But the main thing is that the more questions that you ask, the more you're going to walk away with. So on the right-hand side, you can see you've got a little chat/comments function. If you can't comment in at the moment and there's a blue thing in the top right-hand corner saying sign in, feel free to sign in and ask some questions. If you want to already, introduce yourself, maybe where you're from, what your business is or what ideas you've got. And what I'll try and do is I'll try and sort of shoehorn them into today's session so that we're not just using the standard content. Makes it more interactive for you and gives you a little bit more as well. So do feel free to introduce yourself and we'll kick into today's session. So today's session is going to be about creating video for YouTube. It's going to have three nice bite-sizable chunks to way of doing this. The first one is going to be find your niche. The second one is going to be creating engaging content. And the third one is getting discovered and track your success. Luckily today, you've got myself, Joe Kelly Muldoon. I've been working on this project now for, I think it's a good 5 years. Delivered this presentation a few times, help SMBs sort of, or SMEs, depending where you're from, sort of deliver on their own content. So hopefully I'll be able to drop a few nuggets in here. Additionally, we also have Francois with us today, who I've had the honor of working with for many years. So do feel saying hello to the mod and getting involved. He's also a Google Digital Garage trainer, so lots of knowledge around that as well. So do feel free to ask questions, get involved, and make today's session as interactive as possible. So before we do kick in, we do always love to remind you of an opportunity that is totally free for you to take advantage of. So if you go to g.co/UK mentoring, you'll be able to jump onto this link and it will basically direct you to a page where you can sign up for mentoring. Unfortunately, this is UK only. So if you are not based in the UK, this is not available to you. But if you are UK and you've got a small business or you're a charity, feel free to take advantage of this. There's a few different areas that we'd be able to get involved with. It could be social media. It could be getting more visible on Google. There's a few different options where you can basically tick a few boxes, fill in some information, and you'll receive an email with some options for you to be able to book onto a session. This is an hour session and is totally free from the Google Digital Garage. Have a look at this and hopefully it'll be something you can take advantage of. So the first thing we need to ask when it comes to YouTube is, well, why be on YouTube? Where are people watching? So straight away, you've got to understand that this is the right place for you and the right place for your content. The reason for this is simple maths. So when you're looking at this, 2 billion people logged in users every month. Every single month, we've got 2 billion users. Over 1 billion hours watched every day across the YouTube platform. It's the second largest search engine there is. And over 500 hours of videos uploaded every minute, which technically makes it impossible to ever watch the whole of YouTube. So the reason we put these stats in front of you is for you to start thinking about, well, actually, why are these stats relevant? That's a lot of big numbers. Well, essentially, if you're not on YouTube, you're not optimizing your opportunities to be discovered. You've got another platform that people can search, another platform where your videos could be relevant to people searching for it. Think about how people search these days. A lot of people will even search YouTube first for recipes, for ideas, for how-to videos, for information, for thought leadership. All of these things are all accessible on YouTube. So if you're not currently on YouTube, you're just potentially reducing the chances of you being found. So this is why a lot of people go, is it worth going on YouTube? Even if you don't post every single day, every single month, but you're posting regularly, and you find that's easy and then up that, then fair play. But what we're trying to say here is at least build some of the platform for you to have the option to be able to do this. And YouTube also links to all the other platforms and social media, which means you're highly likely to drag people back through to subscribe to a new YouTube channel and share that love across your social media platforms. So the reason that people are on YouTube, and hopefully the reason you're debating this for your business, is you can have your say on YouTube. You've got freedom of expression. You've got freedom of information. Everyone should have it easy and open access to information around the world. And this is the beauty of YouTube. You can do everything from how to fix a U-bend to making fajitas from scratch. All of these things are totally accessible. Again, freedom of opportunity. Anyone can follow their passions. Anyone can watch any video to discover, to build knowledge, to build and succeed in their own path. So straight away, this is the beauty of YouTube. And the greatest thing of all of these is also the fact you can build communities around this. And this is what we want to try and do. The more information that we can share with the public that's relevant to your business, the more you're going to get people to be able to feel a sense of belonging with this particular link to your business or you as an individual. And this is why we always say, when it's about YouTube, should you be on it or shouldn't you? Essentially, even if you're on it and not utilizing to its highest potential, you're still on it, which you weren't before. So expression, freedom of information, freedom of opportunity, and freedom to belong is the main reasons that people utilize YouTube in any way that they do. One of the reasons for this is because there is literally a niche for everyone. You want to learn how to crochet? Boom. You want to learn how to do origami? Boom. You want to learn how to cook rice perfectly without a slow cooker, without a rice cooker, without a pan? I'm sure there's probably a way of doing that on there as well. So the reason for this is because there are niches that suit everyone. And all you have to do at the tip of the end of your fingertips is literally click. So when we understand a niche, we also need to understand, well, the what, the why, and the who. So now you've chosen maybe an area of your interest, a passion that you have. You've got to decide, what is your channel going to be about? And if you're at this stage now, consider, what is your channel going to be about? Write literally that question down. Why are you creating this content? And who is your audience? So we've got a few people on board. We've got Kim. We've got Smart Study Living. We've got Ashani. What businesses are you also debating? And what I'll try and do is sort of link some of this content in. So the more we're talking about this, the more we're thinking about this, you have to make sure you're doing this for the right reasons. This is why we're asking these questions, because essentially you're going to have to answer these questions to be able to build a YouTube channel. So the first thing I like to consider with this is you need to make sure the what, the why, and the who is driven by your passion. You can't just say, oh, Joe does a YouTube channel about Excel. He does quite well, so I might do that. And I'll just research loads of stuff and do it. You have to understand and define what your passion is. What are your values? What is it that you're passionate about? What is your story? Why are you going to be there? If you're not passionate about it, you might do this for 3 months, for 2 months, for 10 weeks and go, it's not for me. And you've just burned all that time. Yes, you've learned, but is this your passion? The definition of passion is a strong or extravagant fondness and enthusiasm or desire for anything. So whether that be cooking, whether that be cleaning, look at Mrs. Hinch, who's made a massive deals for herself at Tesco's. She's now got brands that she sells her own cleaning products. So straight away, when you think about this, this all started with a passion. And I now know who Mrs. Hinch is, and I'm telling you about it. Look at someone like Joe Wicks, the body coach. He just started off by doing a few videos on Instagram and now has, I think it's across all platforms, has an app, is on TV, is a massive celebrity personality. And I'm sure that wasn't his goal. But the thing is, he's done this because he's found his passion of improving people's fitness, improving people's health with food and exercise. And I'm not even him, but I know what his goals are. I know what his passion is trying to follow. And I also watched and know enough about him that actually I know it's his passion, because you see it. Look at lockdown when he did all those videos. So straight away, I'm trying to get across here is a demonstration of why you have to follow your passion, because this is what you need people to be able to see. So identify your goal is going to be the next thing. So why are you creating this content? So ask that question. I want to inspire people to love and cook soul food. That's Mama Sherry. So straight away, you can look at this picture, you can watch the videos. It's like if I was to live in this presentation and I was saying, I love sharing my knowledge with people and giving people additional information. But as I was talking, I was like, oh, this is great content. Really enjoy this. It's going to develop your knowledge on YouTube. Instead, I've got passion in my voice. I'm moving around the camera. My hands are moving. It demonstrates that I'm trying to get involved in this presentation. I'm trying to make it interactive. I'm demonstrating that I actually want to be here. So it's these sorts of things that you need to demonstrate in your content. So when we look at this, you can see a video here demonstrating some cooking, demonstrating what her channel's about. The next one, we've got Super Sorrel. I want to create a community for adult nostalgic toy collectors. And I want to share my passion for cleaning cars. So what I'm trying to get at here, there's literally, you couldn't have a bigger difference between these channels. You couldn't have a bigger difference between what people are trying to do. And this is what's great about the whole concept of YouTube, is that everything on here is trying to expand people's knowledge. So start to think about this. What is it you want to do with your channel? Are you just sharing your knowledge? Are you giving people a way of seeing your skills online, like a lot of streamers will do? So start to think about this at this point. Start to write down maybe a few ideas. It all started, for example, with Super Sorrel by just collecting toys. But he wanted to create a community of collectors so that everybody on YouTube who's in his community could talk about it and could bring content together, could review figures, could review ideas to help other people decide if they want to buy them. So start to think of this yourself so you can start to optimize what your channel is going to be about before you've even started it, or improve it if you already have. So find your what and why. So my what is music, and my why is to teach people guitar. My what is politics, and my why is to spark debate. So start to answer this question. What is going to be your what, and what is going to be your why? Literally write this down. And if you can't answer this now, this could be something you ask later on. My what is makeup, and my why is to showcase my talents. So if you want to even write down those examples, if you want to Google it, spend time just developing this knowledge. Remember, you can always pause. You can always rewatch this video till tomorrow at 12 noon. So you've got time to do this. This is no rush. So once you've decided your what and your why, and you've decided, well, what is my passion? I want to do this because, you then need to start thinking of, well, have I got to define my audience? If you think about this before starting your content, well, then you can start to understand your audience. You can start to make the content tailored for this audience. It's sort of the approach of say and spray is essentially you're just making content you think is good. But what you've got to consider is that if you know your audience is, say, 15 to 18 boys who are into gaming, well, then the wording, the way you edit the video, the way you get them to share and follow your content might be different versus someone like my dad, who's, I think he's 72, I'm going to say, who is much older, doesn't really care for gaming. If I was saying that that's what I'm hoping to somehow achieve, because I don't really know, the way that I do that, I'd use different words. I'd engage with them entirely different to how I would with my dad. So one of the first things we need to consider is who and where are your audience? Even what do they earn? There's loads of questions that you can ask. If you want to expand on this a little bit, do feel free to have a look at some of the other courses that Google Digital Garage has to offer. If you have a look at social media content, so we've got social media strategy, writing for social media. If you watch those two, I would watch writing for social media before social media strategy. They go into a little bit more detail about personas, which is what we're going to talk about next. But in terms of like, there's a many slides as opposed to a few. So the first thing we need to consider is we need to understand who our audience is, as I've just mentioned. You can do this by creating a persona. Other words for this could be avatar, could be target audience. There's loads of different things. Some people even call them customer buckets. But it's basically a representation of your ideal subscriber, of someone that you know, or at least strongly believe with some evidence, is your ideal target. So here, for example, we have Rowan, 27, works 9 to 5, UK, car enthusiast, goes to car shows, takes pride in his car, frequents online forums, goes to YouTube to learn, has 2 kids, and is always short on time. So based on this information, what can we extrapolate from this? So the what, my passion is looking after cars, so it definitely aligns up. The why, I want to share my knowledge. And the who, the persona of Rowan, the car enthusiast who loves his car. So all of a sudden, you can now start to see we've started to merge these things together. We're starting to answer these questions and make it into something as a target. But the reason we need to consider this is we've got someone as a car enthusiast that wants to learn. So are you going to create videos that is going to help people learn? Are they going to be 2 hours long? I hope not. Because if you're targeting someone like Rowan, who's always short on time, does that mean we make 2-hour videos, or do we make 5-minute snippets where maybe you can pause it and do that bit of work and then play it again? Once in a blue moon, by all means, create content that's long and it's got maybe in detail what you want to talk about. But now you can start to see we're going to aim it at someone that's 27, that's got kids and minimal time, but loves cars. So you need to show passion for loving your car. You need to show passion for cleaning your car and hints and tips about cars. And you're going to target at someone that's about 27 with a time is not his friend. So straight away, this information means you can start to answer this question of who accurately, and even add a picture so you can start to imagine it. Add a board or add a digital persona board of all your different personas. If you haven't got any, start small with at least 3. Then start to expand it. Add pictures so you can envisage being those persons. Write a little story about those people so you can even then start to imagine being that person. So when you're writing the content, you envelop that personality, you envelop that information, and you're reading over it as you're doing it to see how can I maybe tick a box here, do something here to make it so that person is even more accurately targeted. So we're going to have a look at some questions. So we've got a digital marketing agency, education channels about studying, bring the opportunities to people to study who thrive. I'm an educator, children and science, looking to develop children's books. Perfect. So we've got a question as well of how can I create a community on my channel? So literally, when you've got a YouTube channel, you can start to, on the channel, there's an entire section where you can have people join a forum. People are asking questions at the bottom. You've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got Twitter. You can drive people between them. So straight away, what you want to do is a simple one. Ask any questions in the comments. My next video, I'll cover some of these questions. That's a really entry level one. You could open and start to ask people to DM you, ask people to follow you, subscribe. So all of a sudden, you're starting to get people following your content. You can start to see the people popping up in the comments. Straight away, people can then get involved. They can message you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They can even start to email you if you put that on there, your website. But what's great about this, you're starting to create your own army of people who are following you. Sort of like when you hear about believers for Justin Bieber, or there's the ones for, what's she called? Taylor Swift. I think they call them Swifties, I think. But it's that sort of thing where all of a sudden you've got the options now because you're starting to build a platform so people can actually follow you. So straight away, we've got, for example, an educator of children in science. So making videos that are short and snappy with exercises to do maybe when they're traveling, homework, revision, classwork, fun work, holiday work, Christmas work, and trying to think of ways of making that engaging. Are you targeting the parents or are you targeting the children? Imagine the difference between those two options. One of them is telling kids how to do it. The other one is getting the kids to do it themselves. So this is why we have to consider these things when we're creating content. So someone did ask before about engaging content. This sort of goes into this now. So creating engaging content is possibly the most important thing when it comes to YouTube. So the reason for this is a lot of people don't consider engaging content enough. They just go, I'm going to make some content and people will do it. The say and spray approach. But actually, once you understand who your audiences are and why you're doing this content, now you can bring these two things together to start to create content that you find engaging, that they find engaging. But before you even do this, why don't you ask yourself this question? What do you think makes engaging content? What do you think makes engaging YouTube content? So what do you think is the reason I'm saying this? Because there's a big difference in terms of if you don't think about this and just creating content. So there's no right or wrong answers here. Feel free to put this up yourself, but more importantly, write this down. What do you think makes engaging content? If your persona, for example, is maybe someone who's like your mum, your dad, your friend, your brother, your uncle, your cousin, whatever, ask them this same question. If one of your personas is so like one of your friends, why not ask them multiple questions about this? And then all of a sudden, you're starting to build a little bit of research about what you find engaging, what your audience is find engaging. And then you can start to go, right, now I know this information. I can start to actually put this information together and use it to be able to influence my content on YouTube. So steps to create an engaging content doesn't just happen overnight. We have to do a research. We have to plan this research. And the reason for this is that this research and plan gives us strong foundations to move forward. I'm not just going, right, let's do a YouTube video. Hey guys, today I'm going to do a video on Excel. You might think it's boring, but it's super fun and cool. And it saves you hours in work. But you've not planned it. What content are you doing? Who are you talking to? Guys, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm just going to go for it and just deliver some knowledge. But if you had that built up beforehand, you could plan your content down. You could write on the title. You could get some content. You could do some research around that content, add a few hints and tips at the end. So straight away, you've planned that little bit. You've got your laptop out. You've got a microphone out. You've got some lights out. So again, research and plan. The more planning you do, the quicker and better you can make your content because it saves you time. Have equipment ready for action. So is it easier because you've planned it to basically have your equipment around you, any props around you, little things that you can do? So for example, if I'm talking about mascara, rather than having it over there, so I've got a mad reach for it, have you got it just next to you so you can go, today we'll be talking about Too Legit mascara. This is a waterproof mascara by Lacora. I've just spent how long looking down rather than looking at the screen when it should have been. Today, we're going to be talking about mascara. This one is an amazing mascara. I use it myself. It's called Legit. It's by, Lacora. All of a sudden, you've not got any of this going on the screen. You're making it fluid. If you're talking about loads of products, having people around you to pass it to make it more engaging. So spend time around this, creating your content. Remember, once it's out there, it's out there. But the more importantly, give it a go is what we're saying here, and organize and edit. The more you organize this stuff and lay it down, the easier it's going to be to edit together. So we're going to go into each one of these now. So first of all, let's do a little bit of research first. Get inspired. So you have to understand what content we actually want to talk about. We have to understand what it is to have this content and to understand why you're going to make this content. So get inspired by looking there first. Look at what your competitors do. Literally, whatever your niche is, whether it be football, whether it be cooking, have a look at some other people that do this. See what they do. So then you can start to get a bit of an idea of what you're going to need. Have a look at some thought leadership. Listen to experts on this. Go onto LinkedIn, go into YouTube. Watch some people talking about this. Analyze news, trends, and current events. So, for example, if you're going to do this, you can always keep on top of this. A really good way of doing this could be having a look at Think with Google. And this one gives you a bit of an idea of finding your audience. This will give you a bit of an idea of data around trends and tracking along as they happen. For example, if you want to keep on top of news to do with cooking, rather than going out every day researching it, get a Google alert that will send you information about the niche that you're cooking around so that you can see relevant things that are happening all the time. If you want to see maybe how popular certain keywords, Google Trends is a really good example of this. And you'll see all these links popping up in the comments box. So do feel free to click on them, save them, put them in your bookmarks. Google Trends could tell you, for example, like Spanish cooking? Is that what people say? Or is it going to be cooking Spanish, Spanish theme, Spanish style, Spanish food? You can literally see which words are going to be more popular. A really good example of this is if you go to Google Trends and then look at the UK and type in Wellingtons. And then if you type it in rain boots, which is what we don't say in the UK, Wellingtons is really popular. But if you were targeting an American audience and you go and change the country to America, rain boots is far more popular than Wellingtons or Wellibobs or Wellingtons or Wellington boots, because in America they call it something different. So it's a really good example of how Google Trends can literally show you trends that are relevant in different countries. And the more you start to target these audiences in different locations, you can start to go, right, what are the keywords? What are the words that they're actually saying that are actually being searched in Google to prove what I'm talking about is relevant? So have a look at Google Trends, research your competitors, watch some videos online. But all of this is different ways of you just expanding your knowledge before you just jump in the deep end. The right type of content for you. So there's different types of content. One-off videos. So this might be get your message across with a quick, impactful hit. Doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be short, whatever suits you. But it could just be you're going on holiday, so I'm going to do a quick video introducing to where I am on my travel blog. But people aren't there just for that. Some people are. Other ones might be there for regular short form videos. So this could be short and sweet, to the point. These videos have a higher completion rate. So in case you don't know what a completion rate is, if your video is 3 minutes long, you want to keep people there for 3 minutes. You want to keep their attention. You want quick, sharp changes, quick, sharp edits, engaging videos. Like, for example, I watched a video the other day, which was really cool. Say, for example, it was this mascara. Instead of me going to the side and grabbing this mascara, they literally had, I assume, someone going above the camera and dropping it. And it was like, imagine that was there, just going, this is the best mascara that we've used. It's called, my word, legit. It's by Lacora. This is what we found so far. Here's a video of whatever with it. Here's a picture of whatever. In the comments, I'll put the link. But just that little thing just makes it a little bit more engaging. So think, are you going to do regular short form content that is going to keep people coming back? They're going to follow you for more. They're going to subscribe for more. They're going to turn on that little bell notification so they get told next time you upload a video. Are you going to do longer form content to keep your viewers engaged for longer, like a podcast, interviews, live stream, documentaries? But remember, these don't have such a good completion rate because people don't always have the time to watch the entire thing. They might pause and never come back to it. They might watch part of it and not have time for the rest of it. But a good mixture of all of them then means that people can start to pick and choose what they need, and also pick and choose what's relevant to their lifestyle. So before, when we talked about having kids and not having time, that person might watch the one-off videos, the regular content, and catch up when he can on the long forms, versus someone that has got time might do it the exact other way around. Another thing to really think about as well is series. So, for example, you might have all of these, but these are sort of standalone content that lives with themselves. But say, for example, you were doing a cooking one. It might be that you're going to do Mama Cherry's soul food. So what you could do is do a section on easy cooking, soul food in 10 minutes, starter, main, dessert. Could be a short series of 3. You could then do another one saying easy cooking in 10 minutes for a buffet. Easy cooking in 1 hour for a buffet. Buffet could be a series. Starters could be a series. It's entirely up to you how you want to separate them. But a really good way of looking at this again, if you have a look at Joe Wick's YouTube, Exemplary, it literally has the low energy workouts, high energy workouts, short workouts, long workouts. He's color coded them. He's put them into categories. You can search amongst those categories. It's very well laid out. But the series means that if you're looking for someone who's got maybe a knee injury or a back injury or the older generation or don't want a high impact workout, they can just go low impact workout. All of those are low impact workout, minimum time spent, maximum time spent exercises. So start to think, what is going to be the one for you? Could you even write down one-off videos, regular content, long form content series, and just write that down as ideas for you to fill in later on? And then all of a sudden, you've started that planning process and you've not even really thought about anything. To a release schedule. So do not overdo yourself. So how many videos can you release per week? Start off small. Promise yourself you'll do 1 video every 2 weeks. And then if that's too easy, if that's too hard, okay, do one video a month. And then you'll probably go, actually, you know what? I'm getting used to this editing. I'm going to try and do one every 2 weeks. That's gone well. I'm going to do one every week. But it could also be that maybe 1 month you've got time, another month you haven't, which then means what you can do is create content in advance and then schedule that to be released on certain days, because you've got to have a life outside of this, which then means you can start to consider, actually, could I schedule content? Are you going to rotate content? So you're talking about one thing 1 month, one thing another month, or one thing 1 week, one thing a certain day? Will your content be released on certain days so that your followers are coming back on a Monday night? And every Monday night, that becomes their chill before bed watching video for half an hour. But they're learning as they do it. But the main thing we're trying to say here is use tools to schedule this in so you can create a bank of content and just top up that bank. So you have got the option that if something goes wrong, you've still got content being rolled out. Subscribers can choose to be notified when posts are something new, which then means if you are scheduling it regularly, they're getting a ba-ding every week, which means you're more likely to get those people coming back every single time. So write down these questions. How many videos can you release per week, per month? What days of the week are you going to release on? And it could be that on a Monday you do one thing, and on a Wednesday and Thursday you do a bit of short form content, and once at the weekend you might do some random content that's a one-off. But you're just making it consistent. Everyone loves consistency. Everyone loves regular. Not, oh, he's posted this week, he didn't post for 4 weeks, unfollow. He's posted every week. I love it on a Monday night watching this content. What's happened the last 3 weeks? I've forgot, I've unregistered. Now we've not got that follower. So consistency is the key here. So write down these questions. How many videos per week? What days of the week? Will you rotate content types? And link the content to specific days of the week so that people can get that structure. Now you're deciding on when you're going to do it, who you are, what the channel's about, then start to consider the story itself. So there's something called a hook. This is not Captain's hook. This is what is going to grab this person's attention. In the first 7 seconds, realistically, they need to be watching this video and staying, which means if you're just going, hi, today it's sunny outside, I'm sat on my comfy chair, I'm ready to game. No one needs to know all of that peripheral information. What is your video about? What is going to happen in this video? What is the benefit for the user? Today, we're going to do Clash of Clans video, how to kill that new boss in less than 2 minutes. Let's go. The people are there because they're watching Clash of Clans. They are playing that game online. They're talking about it. And they're following you because of this. So they're going to have the same problems. You're targeting this audience with the way you're doing it, the wording that you're going to use. You're not saying, excuse me, one and all. Today we'll be doing Clash of Clans, and we'll be killing that boss jolly good, because a younger generation, for example, from a different area who doesn't appreciate accents, doesn't appreciate someone being snooty, doesn't appreciate a potential posh side of you, will just go, why am I following this person? Leave. So that's why you have to think about your audience, always trying to nail that home. So you've got your hook, you've grabbed their attention. Now you've got to consider, this is your main bit of content. What are you trying to communicate? Why is this important? Write this down. Everything should ladder up to your core content goal, which in that video might be demonstrating how you're going to kill that particular level, how you're going to win on that particular level. Before it, though, you've got to make them actually watch it to understand what it is. Or you've not even talked about the thumbnails yet. And then once we've finished this, brilliant. They've enjoyed your video. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. The first person I can see online to post a video like this. Feel free to follow me for future boss stories. Feel free to follow my content, and hopefully we'll take Clash of Clans on together. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. See you again. JKM out. I know this seems like a bit of a strange concept, but you need to make sure they're coming back. Some people do this as well in the middle of the video, just to remind people. Putting the buttons there at the bottom, feel free to follow. At the bottom, feel free to hit that. A little animation comes up. What we're doing now is if they're around for the hook, they've stuck around for the middle. Now you want to catch them at the end to say, my goal is to get more subscribers, to help more people learn about what I'm trying to get across. So you've got to ask for this. You've got to push it out there. Don't just go, right, subscribe now. You've got to be a reason for this. Subscribe to find out more. Subscribe to take on more Clash of Clans levels together, quickly and easily, with my tactics. So just start to think outside of the box when it comes to this. Watch other videos like Mr. Beast. Watch other videos where people are talking about content and talking about gaming, if you're doing that area, and see what they do about it. How can you replicate that? So writing for video. So speak directly to your audience. Literally say, how is everyone doing today? It's great to see everyone getting involved. Let's get into this stream. And then literally answer questions that they're talking to. Answer those questions directly. Write it the way you would say it. Don't feel this has to be a script that has to be over prepared. You could just have notes around the top of your screen of what you're going to talk about after each thing. And then by all means, ad-lib it and just practice a little bit beforehand. But write the way you speak, because that's how people want to engage with you. That's why people are engaging with you. Read your scripts out loud beforehand. Read your notes out loud. Give it a little practice just so you can see there's a beginning, middle, and an end. You've created that hook. You've told them what they're doing. You've told them how they're going to subscribe. So start to think of how you can do this, because when you talk to your viewers, it's going to be more personable. They're going to prefer to be spoken to rather than just you talking about yourself. How can you engage them? Last week, we had a few questions about X, Y, and Z. So this week, I'm going to answer it. Joe, Adam, and Amanda from Manchester, thank you so much for asking the questions. Let's get into them. But they're like, oh, they mentioned my name. An example is for me was once with Joe Wicks. I had a load of prep work on my meals, took a picture on Twitter, tagged him in it. He retweeted that, nothing else. Just retweeted it. Loads of people engaged with it. Loads of people liked it. I was like, wow, he retweeted my content. But for him, it's someone demonstrating they're doing what he's been saying with his meals. Easy win for him. Easy win for me. I get a bit of a buzz about it. He mentions my tweet. It's got my name on there. It goes out to his millions of viewers. I get a little boost. He gets a little boost. But more importantly, that content is something that he can then post about. You can talk about on your content if you want to, but it's your viewers getting involved. And that's what's great about talking directly to them. And if you can build this into the script, the list of names of people down the side, you'll get them coming back for more. So how could we take this one step even further? You could develop a story shot, a storyboard, whatever you want to call it. But what's great about this is that here you can start to put your story together. You can have the first two slides of the hooks, your intro, the things you're going to use, when you're going to say it, how you're going to say it. But then you can start to think outside of this box. What visuals are we going to have? So what can be seen on the shot? What's going to be in the background? So we need a backdrop. We need a light. We need mascaras to talk about. We need these headphones to talk about. We're talking about going on a holiday and switching off. All of a sudden, having all of these things on the storyboard means when you're doing the content, you can literally go, right, have I got this, 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 and this? Yes, 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 yes. Are you going to pass me these things from put them there and there? Yes, I'll do this. When I get to this bit, pass me this. All of a sudden, it all comes together because you've thought about the visuals. You've thought about the sound, what you're going to have for music, what you're going to have for your microphone. So if you've got a bit maybe where you're talking about Lord of the Rings, could you put a bit of cheeky Lord of the Rings background music on so it gives a bit of context? When you're talking about Game of Thrones, could you put the Game of Thrones theme music on just quietly in the background or edit it in afterwards? Same with props, and the same with if you are going to have other people to help you. Changing the color of the lights at a certain point where maybe you're going to talk about something really exciting about the end of the video. Everything goes red for a second. People are watching and like, wow, why has it gone red? Because he's going to give you a quick tip about winning that boss at the end and every single time. So all of a sudden people are looking forward to that bit, but you've made it a little bit more engaging. So basically get a storyboard, write your content down, write these notes. The more you prep now, the better it's going to be later on. So what can you start with? Do you have a phone? Do you have a laptop? Do you have a window? This could be the simplest way of starting this. Lighting costs. I'm currently in my bedroom and I use my wife's makeup mirror, which has got a adjustable lights, and I just have it slightly off full bright because when it's on full, it's pretty full on. But it just means that I've just got that little bit of extra light that I can control. But again, this is how I've done it. I've also got a backlight in my office. It depends where I want to do it, but a laptop is enough. A phone is enough. And using natural light, easy way of doing this. So once you know you've got this, start to make some content. Get a tripod at first, just lean it on something. But all of these things are simple ways of doing this. You can even use YouTube Video Editor to edit your videos together. You don't need software that's specific for this. But get going. Start with what you have rather than going, I need to get everything first, a full on studio. See how it goes. How can we take this a little bit further? So could we get a cheeky tripod with a stand? You can get these on Amazon for less than £10, other places for cheaper, but you can also get more expensive ones that have more options. Getting yourself a lighting rig, again, £5, £10, and there's no limit to where you can go with these. But again, Wi-Fi ones where you can change the brightness, change the heat, change the strength of the light. These are all options you can start to go up to and go up to and go higher to once it started going well. Then what about a microphone? So you can get rid of wind. Could you get a little mic that could be off screen? Could you put a little cover over it so that it always has good sound quality? Could you start buying video editing software? Could you find and research some that are free or paid for? Or if they're expensive, could you subscribe to them or get a temporary version to test it out? But enhancing your video just means you're going to make better and better content. So, for example, some people use entry-level, like Sony entry-level video cameras or cameras, which have got options for webcam mode or have got options to link it into your webcam, which means then you don't have to buy a £100 webcam, which is going to be limited. You could actually have a camera that you take video content with when you're out and about, but then utilize it as a webcam as well. So start to think of these things as you're doing it. So top tips to think about, consider what can be seen on the screen. So look around you, make sure you've got everything covered. When you're talking about things, don't just leave it over here. It's in the middle. When we bring in other props in, you've got them. You're talking about them. What's behind you? What's in front of you? How can this affect what's around you? Choose your space carefully. For example, once I remember I had the light on outside. I was sat in front of the window, and then I was doing a presentation for 3 hours. By the time I finished the presentation, the only light left was on the screen, which meant I went from a brilliant light pretty much all the way down to something like this. And everything changed. I didn't notice it till I rewatched the video afterwards and was like, right, I need to make sure I get a backlight ready for this so that it can start like that, but it stays consistent. Think about your camera position. Do you have multiple cameras? Could you have it so you've got different setups? So you've got your screen at half screen when you're playing a game, or 3/4 screen, or your little square in the corner. But when you're explaining something, you have another option where a different camera's on you. So think about all these options and think about how you're going to record your content and how you're going to share it earlier. Because if, for example, you're in a bathroom, how is someone going to use that mid? Or if people do use it, nobody wants to hear that. So the 5 basics for editing: import your footage and organize it. So you've got it in times, what you're talking about. So then when you're editing, it's even easier. Add the visuals and sound effects afterwards. Check the sound and double check the sound. Do we need to make any color corrections? Make notes of what you're doing because you can apply it to other videos in the future. And then export your video and stick it up onto YouTube. All of a sudden, it now means you've got a standardized approach. You've got a color maybe around the edges for one type of video. You've got the same title. You've got your logo in the same location for the whole video. Make a notes of these things. Make absolute knowledge of these things. Make templates of these things. So when it's finished, you'll organize it. It makes life easier. One thing you can also do as well is, say, for example, when you're doing videos, do something like this, or put your hand over the video camera in between the videos so that you can see a black screen come up when you know it cut. If you did this for, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let go, you now know for 5 seconds there's going to be a pink or a black thing coming over your screen. The reason for this now means when you're editing your video, you can see these points and know these are going to be cuts, which means you don't have to watch all the video to go, right, he stopped after he talked about this, cut, save, put it in a folder. So spend that little bit of extra time so you can start to get your head around it. You can start to get like little transitions between videos, little transitions between when the next title comes up, where it's going to come up. Do you interact with the title? Next, we're going to talk about spreadsheets. Then we're going to talk about databases, and it literally comes up on the screen. But the more you prep for this means your basic editing will be easier. So we're going to pause for some more questions. 1 second. Questions. How to create traffic to my channel. So how to create traffic to your channel, we're going to go through in a bit more as well. But basically, making sure you're making content that's relevant to your audience. Sharing that content to them on the platforms that they're on. So groups they could be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, hashtags that they're following. Do research around this. This will now mean you've started to make content for this audience, which means then you should be able to build and create traffic for this channel. Can you put it in front of them? Can you see the hashtags that they're following? What if your niche is saturated? So if your niche has already got a load of saturated people, for example, online streaming, massively saturated, what are you going to do differently? How are you going to give your audience that extra little thing? What's your niche within that niche that they're going to follow? Is it a certain game? Is it a certain way you're going to do it? Is it high energy, low energy, calm, comical, fun, expert? What is the angle you're going in at? And then once you've decided on that, focus on that niche, because then there will be people within that niche of a niche who want to follow you for that reason. Are you a young gamer, an old gamer? Are you saying that you can do this with a basic setup, but I've maximized my videos? It's entirely up to you. How can you grow a faceless channel? E.g., they do only their voice on video. It's the content at the end of the day. You could have your voice on the video and not see a face. It's far better to have a face because people associate with it. But as long as that content is engaging and you've made that content have fluctuation in the voice, you've made the content quick, you've got good edits, you've got good content, there doesn't need to be a face behind it. But I would strongly recommend it. Does not having me appear on the video affect my video? I would say that it doesn't necessarily affect your video, but it affects people's perceptions of that video. So a lot of people like to associate to a brand. Look at someone like KSI, Logan Paul. People associate to that, instantly recognize them straight away. People know who that is straight away, which means when they see you online, when they see you on other videos platforms, when they see you on other social media platforms, they can see that content and know it's you straight away and attach themselves to that brand. And it's the human touch. It's like if you were watching this and I wasn't trying to be engaging, I wasn't sat there and you were just watching a video with someone talk over it, how do you get engaged with that? How do you get excited by that? How do you see the passion in someone? A voice has got passion, but visual movements. If I was just sat there like this the whole time, you'd probably be bored. But because I get engaged with the content, I bring my hands forward, I try and make it engaging. It means then that face and that person is part of that brand. It's not just you. So get discovered and track your success. So this is what you were talking about a little bit ago as well, like how can we get channel traffic to the channel? So we can then start to talk about using keywords. So using keywords, be searchable, add tags, and promote yourself. So once you've uploaded your video, you then need to make sure you make your video searchable so people can actually find you. So the first thing is understanding your keywords. So this is like understanding what's popular in your niche. So for example, if you were to go to YouTube and just type in car cleaning, the autocomplete suggestion on YouTube could then tell you here. So car cleaning guru, car cleaning hacks, car cleaning UK, tips, satisfying and interior. So straight away from this rough bit of searching, you've got a bit of an idea what people are writing about. You've got a bit of an idea what video content people are talking about. And these are popular terms. You could spend a little bit more time on Google Trends to start to do this. You could go on AdWord Planner. So if you go to ads, Google Ads, and then sign up to Google Ads, you've got a thing called Keyword Planner. It's not AdWord Planner, sorry. Keyword Planner in Google Ads. And this then associates all other popular words that are there and what sort of frequency they're being searched and what sort of cost, if you were to do ads, is associated to it, but also an amazing keyword planner. So straight away, all of these terms, do it on YouTube, go to Google, type in a little bit, go to Google Trends, find the words that are most popular. All of a sudden, this now means you've started to understand the words that people are searching for, and now you can start to make content around some of those keywords. Write searchable titles. So easy dessert recipe. This is genuinely something I have typed into Google. Top 10, how to. This is what people search. How to cook soul food, how to cook Caribbean food, how to cook food like your mama used to make it. All of a sudden, this is what people type in. So reinforce the importance of these words in the title, in your description, in the labels, in the tags, on the hashtags on your social, your hashtags on here. But all of these reinforce and repeat these words, which means when someone searches it, it gives you a higher chance of being read. And keep that description short but visible. You don't want an essay because people aren't going to read it, and it will also cut off at one point. But use these keywords to repeat what the title says, but with more context. And if you are going to use labels, remember, if you're doing a series, have that label in there. So series of cooking food in 10 minutes. So 10 minutes cooking food, simple 10-minute food, and then link that in all of the series so that it is consistent across that board rather than just a one-off. Add video tags. So think about the tags that you're going to use. So if you're talking about this one, which is Toy Hall, Marvel Legends, Star Wars, Black Series, comics, G.I. Joe, and so on, he's then also started to put hashtag toy, hashtag Marvel. So what is it people are typing in? These are then things that you can associate these keywords, but choose the top line. Don't just start going toys that fold. Think about what it is that people are searching. Find what people are talking about. Use these hashtags so that people are actually using these hashtags online. So you're bringing more people to these channels. You can also do is maybe consider as well, like information that's not communicated in your title. So if you've only got so much space for a title and description, you could also add a few more sort of fluffier bits here to bring people in who are searching for those as well. Build your community. So once you've got this, literally on YouTube, in the top right-hand corner, you've got all your social media, but you've also got a massive section in the middle called community. It's an excellent way to get your videos in front of people that are interested. It encourages them to interact with you. It expands your brand. And then all of a sudden, people are then engaging with you more. Use this community to interact directly with your subscribers, to learn what it is they're doing, to learn what it is they want, to get more content. Look at something like Twitter, you can do polls. Look at something like Instagram, you can do, what is it you want to see? And literally use that research to put into a list, to do something with, to then recirculate that knowledge and that lesson to do the content again. All of a sudden, you're using your audience to create more content that suits them even more than before, which means you should get even more and more engagement. And this is why we're saying spend this time to do this, spend this time to build that community. Then, once you've started to create on one platform, you're trying to move across to another. We've got 2,410 followers here, and this is on an Instagram account, I assume. You can also put the link to YouTube on there. On YouTube, you've got your URL, but you can also then put the link to your social media in the top corner. So all of a sudden, you're cross-platforming. Again, Joe Wick started on Instagram, 15-second meals. He did 15 seconds, and it was like, get your pan, whack some oil in it, bit of beef, bit of broccoli, bit of cumin, turn it around, 10 seconds, add the rice, soya sauce on top, bosh, done. 15 seconds, snap. That was all you were allowed. So he made 15-second meals. Then he made a book called 15-Minute Meals. And all of a sudden, he's using that 15 minutes and using that 15 seconds as a point of pushing forward with his brand. But what he then did was mastered Instagram, went to YouTube, then went to Twitter, then went to Snapchat, then went to Facebook. And he passed the knowledge and the followers on from one platform to another platform by sometimes doing content that was just on that platform, which then meant people had to go and follow that platform to watch it. So you were using that cross-referencing between your platforms to maximize engagement. But as you can see here, all of this stuff from your social media challenge to your websites to your YouTube keeps people in this community. Understand your users with analytics. So once you've got people on YouTube, you can start to see, right, I'm getting a spike every week while I release that content. And then I got a bit of a dip here. I did go on a holiday and I forgot to schedule content in there. Be honest with your users. They expect you to go on holiday. So if you were to say, I'm going away in 2 weeks, I'll schedule some content for you guys, but when I get back, we're going to smash it even bigger than before. All of a sudden, they're like, okay, I'm still getting my hit of what I want. But more importantly, you can start to see what content is actually going well, what content isn't going well, to make sure that you use this to understand your audience, to understand the age that people are watching, what time people are watching. All of a sudden, this is driving viewers to your channel. What creates your audience for affinity? Well, as part of the previous point, it's worth thinking about, well, you're understanding who the age are, you're understanding what they're watching. Now use this content to get this affinity towards your channel from these users by looking at what's going well, and then you'll see that go up and up and up and up. So spend time looking at your analytics, what time people are doing, when they're engaging with it. Learn about it. Google, how do I read my analytics on YouTube? What can I do with my YouTube analytics? Because this is what's driving people to your channel. The more you understand it, the more you'll be able to get more people back. Measure your success on YouTube. So what does this mean? I'd love to know if my content is reaching users. So this is how many impressions you have. So this is how many people have visually looked at your content, but not necessarily engaged with it. So this could mean you need to improve your thumbnails, shorter titles, snappier titles, funny titles, engaging titles, silly titles. Try different titles, try different thumbnails, try different ways of sharing your videos, but then find out which one works. Then once you've done this, have they clicked on the video to watch your video? So are viewers seeing or hearing and watching my content and videos? That's called the click-through rate. So CTR, click-through rate. This is how many people have viewed it. But are my viewers interested? The average viewer duration time. So how long are they interested? If you've got 100 people watching your videos, or they've seen your videos, 70 people click through, which is an amazing click-through rate, by the way. So don't worry if it wasn't that high at first, 75%. It's going to be much lower. Then how many people have watched it? If you have 100 people go into there, 75 people clicking on it, and 4 people watching the whole video, what does that tell you about the whole video? It's either too long, you need to change the way you do it, you've waffled too much, they're not enjoying it. So what you need to do, go back to the drawing board and learn. So the watch time shows how interested people are. If you've got most people watching for 1 minute, you've clearly done something right with your hook and your intro, but you need to work on the middle. How are you keeping people engaged? So I'm going to pause for questions. 1 second. What do you mean by posting consistently? Oh, so what do you mean by posting consistently? So I mean, literally, if you're posting, you start a new channel, for example, and I'm going to post once a week, but I'm getting pretty flabbergasted. I'm getting overwhelmed because I haven't got time to create a video, plan a video, create a video, edit a video, post a video by Wednesday every week. And I've got 3 days to do that. Well, then the next week you do it. The week after you do it. But the week after, you've not got time. You missed that week. You think, well, I've missed 1 week. I may as well miss 2 weeks. Your people who have subscribed to you are looking for regular content that's on a day, that's at a time, that's getting updated regularly. And they're coming back for more. They're hungry for it. But if you just go, I didn't post last week, so I won't post this week. If you've got 100 subscribers, they might be coming back every week on a Monday for your cooking content. Okay, brilliant. Or your education content or your maths content. But then they come back the week after, you've not posted. They come back the week after, they're like, well, one more chance. Right, they've not posted. They're not doing what they said they'd do. They promised this. So consistently is always saying, post once a week until you realize that's too much or too little. But then keep that consistent posting up. And like I said before, for series, one-off content, regular content, Tuesday content, whatever it is you decide, that consistency is key because that keeps people coming back because they know that content is good, engaging and fun, and they're learning from it. So I'll come back for more. I post randomly, say 2 times this week or 5 times next week. Does it affect my viewership? Not essentially. If you post randomly all the time, could you start to think, could you do some on a certain day so that you've got that regular content, slightly longer form content? But like Instagram, the more you've got people engaged, that regular content is fine and random content, but can you consider maybe adding in a bit of regular content once in a blue moon, once every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever it's going to be, so that people might get that extra little bit more from you and you can get that extra length of engagement and get that extra length of message and hopefully use it as a way of lead generation to go, actually, people are watching this. This is where you can buy. This is where you can engage. This is where I can monetize this situation. So to round up the next steps on YouTube, find your niche. What is your what, your why, and your who? Rewind this video, watch that section again, writing for social media, strategy for social media, it will be on there. Create engaging content. So research and plan. Choose the right content for you. So you're going to keep doing this. You're going to find it engaging, your passion. Create with confidence. Give it a go is all I can say here. If you mess up, own it. If you go in the middle of a 10-minute sequence, just go, let me just put that right back. Let's go again. People appreciate you human by messing up. Let that be so. And be consistent, like we just mentioned then. Get discovered and track your success. Make sure you research keywords and link them into your titles, description, and tags and labels. Track your success with analytics. And don't be afraid to try something new, something a bit different. See what the audience thinks about it. And then you're going to get feedback from them. They're going to engage with you. You're going to engage with them. Maybe try some content they suggested. Boom. The circle of YouTube content. What are your next steps? Remember, g.co/UK mentoring. Get yourself a mentoring session. Try it out, see if it works for you. Can this accelerate your growth? All I can say otherwise is thank you for watching the Google Digital Garage presentation today. Thank you, Francois. Much appreciated. Everybody have a good day, and we'll see you again at the Google Digital Garage. Goodbye, and have a good evening.